Hello everybody, Average Gamer here. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. In this episode, modification of weapons. So in the last episode, I kind of made a comment about, being able to spend XP on weapons to be able to sell them at a higher price if there was a player market. I wanted to get a little bit more in depth to that into this episode. So what I mean by that is basically, as you play with certain weapons on a mech, you have the ability to spend weapon XP, so experience points utilizing specific weapons on a mech by mech basis. So for example, you earn experience points on your Enforcer 4R here, and I'm using my medium lasers and large lasers. So right now my medium laser, if I click on it here, it takes up one slot, it's 1 ton, it does 5 damage, it does 4 heat, it's got a cooldown of 3. It takes 0.9, it's almost a second is the duration. It's a max range of 540, optimal range of 270, and it has a health theoretically of 70, and obviously it's been quirked a little bit. Now, with the utilization of the XP system and the skill system in this, and the new skill tree that I mentioned in the last episode, one of the things you could unlock for the mechs is weapon modifications. So you unlock that, and that gives you the ability to modify weapons on your mech using the XP you've earned for just that mech. So for example, the medium laser here, for example. What if for 10,000 experience points, or even 1,000 experience points, I can upgrade both medium lasers is, we'll say the damage, by 2 points, to make it up to 7, by spending 10,000 per medium laser, so 20,000 XP, per laser, with some sort of extra filament or extra optical lens or something like that increases the damage of the mech. Now it'll have some sort of drawback, so the damage will go up by 2 and the heat will go up by 1, say for example. So it'll do 7 damage but 5 heat. And then every weapon has 3 modification slots, so you can do 3 things to it, but everything has a positive and negative. So the first one we do is say coated optics. With that, damage goes up by 2, so it's damage plus 2, heat plus 1. So our weapon for our medium laser goes up by 2, and the heat goes down by goes up by 1. The next one is coolant flush systems, or coolant systems. That reduces your range, but reduces your heat by 2. So now our heat goes from 5 down to 3, but our max range goes down by say 20 meters. So now our max range is 520, and our optimal range, which is supposed to be half of that, is now reduced even more. That'll be 220-ish. No, 5 2 calculator 540. No, we reduced it by 20, so 5, because it's 540, right? Divided by 2. Yeah. So it'd be 520 divided by 2 equals 260. I was close. So our optimal range is now 260. And it keeps the health the same. Now we have a third option. Now we have tons of the upgrade options, right? Everything that'll upgrade cooldown, duration, all that stuff. That's what the next one does. It increases your cooldown. It'll be called monofilament batteries, we'll say for example. That increases your cooldown, but affects the health. So your health is now say 8, but your cooldown is now 2. So you're almost or 1.5. Say it reduces it by 50%. So it's something where you can do an ebb and flow of different things and modify all your weapons, so that later on when you take these weapons off, they stay in your inventory as those modded weapons that can only be loaded onto a mech that has those options for those medium lasers. Now also, that will give you the ability to spend a lot of your XP that you have on your mech and specifically turn around and sell these mechs on an open market. Now if you buy these weapons on an open market, you're able to then equip them onto any robot, because someone else has spent the XP and done all that stuff. All you need to have done is unlock the weapon modification for a mech. think of the possibilities. People would be selling massively modified weapons, min-maxed, so they're better than they are right now. Some people will just be selling weapons that are massively do a lot of damage, but cause do a lot of heat. Or people like myself will be modifying the cooldown of the damage, or I would actually be doing the heat and the cooldown. So reduce the heat as much and reduce the cooldown as much as I can. Now, if I reduce the heat and cooldown and ends up reducing the damage by a little bit, no big deal, but we should be firing twice as fast. So say I reduce the heat down, I can fire 3 shots for every 1 that I do now, but the damage ends up being 2.5. That's 8 damage instead of 5. So I'm doing 3 damage more, but the weapon's cooler and the weapon fires a lot faster. So, things like that. Ideas like that. Then different weapons also have, obviously, their quirks, but also, depending on what faction you're in, that has additional factors. So everyone in the FRR, for example, gets an additional bonus to a discount, or gets discounts on the following weapon modifications in the weapons modification table. So, ballistics, armor piercing or high explosive. You can swap out the two. If you are a member of the FRR specifically, you get a 30% discount on the swap if you're switching from one or the other. If you're a member of group, some other faction, the actual high explosive rounds do 2% more damage, or have a X percentage chance of doing a high chance of a critical attack, or critical damage. Things like that. I'd like to see weapons. So we would have probably the same thing. I gotta pick a mech that actually has missiles. Let's go with the archer here. So with missiles, you can do things like better guidance. So the weapon actually clusters better. For example, because here spread I don't think even shows up. Yeah, because here spread doesn't show up, but the spread's better, so it clusters better together. Better rocket motors. Missiles go faster. Projectile speed's quicker. Just trying to think of all the different options. To be honest with you, the sky's the limit when allowing weapon modifications. You can modify, say, for example, the warhead. So you say the actual tonnage for an LRM missile is now increased. So instead of getting 100, I think it's 100 rounds per ton. So instead of getting 180 rounds per ton, it's 140 rounds per ton because you've increased the yield of the missile. That then offsets the speed. So the projectile speed is no longer 160; it's 130. Certain little modifications like that, I would like to see. Gives the ability and the modifications of overall changing things up a little bit. Now no longer will you see a mech and you see what it has, you know what it'd be able to do. Now you'll be looking at it going, well, yeah, that's what they have, but what have they modified the mech out to be? It could be something that's literally almost like a laser Gatling gun, where it's got a whole bunch of medium lasers on it that actually fire so quick that they're actually faster than medium pulse. They don't do the pinpoint damage, but it's just constant. Pop, 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 pop. They do 1 point damage, but they're firing super fast. So you got 3 cooldown modules on it, so they're just constantly firing out at you. Things like that. It creates more of also a personalization of your mechs and things like that, because then you're actually spending time and effort on getting that XP, so you can modify the weapons you want on there to basically go towards your strengths and go against your weaknesses on the mech. Now, also that brings in additional things where you can then modify your engine, so you can go a little faster. Heat efficiency, armor, all that stuff. Basically, change this upgrades page to weapons, armor, engine, systems. Systems are like your sensor systems, your radar, your communication systems, all that stuff. And I kind of wish to make everything, all that stuff, modifiable, which would be very, very important, or in my eyes, very, very good to have, to, well, to make things a little bit more, I don't even know what the word I want to use, customizable. I want to be able to, customize my robots a little bit more sometimes. But that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.